Ciao and welcome back to our Italian course. This is a course for beginners, as the title says. So it is for people who've never studied the language or those who have started already and just want maybe to practice or to revise whatever they've been studying already. So I hope you find these lessons useful. As you can see, I have started from very, very basic on lesson 1, and I am following from there. So adding gradually new information, new words, new everything. So I would recommend if you are, especially if you've never done any Italian before, I recommend you to follow start from lesson 1 and follow from there without skipping anything. Also because apart from the actual topic that I put in the title, there are always some other, maybe some examples, some other information that is not necessarily in the title. And before starting, thank you very much for subscribing, for liking the videos, sharing them, and please feel free to comment. Let me know your thoughts. And if you have questions, if you need explanations, especially for something that I've said in my videos, also other topics, then I will cover them. If it's something very simple, I'll answer in a comment. Otherwise, I can make a video if it's a more complex topic. Right, so this is lesson 5, lezione 5. And today we are going to talk, we're going to see how to introduce somebody in a formal way and in an informal way. So, for example, if you are with somebody and you know, you meet some other friends, so you want to introduce these two people. Right, so let's go immediately to our document, which I have already prepared. And here it is. So as I said, we are introducing somebody to another person, and according to the situation, the context, or how well you know the person or persons you are with, we can use an informal way or a formal way. And by the way, more and more in Italy, people use the informal way to address each other. It's not my favorite thing, I have to say. I've said it before. But the best thing, if you are in doubt, the best thing is just to do whatever the other person is doing. That's what I do. In fact, I tend to use lei, the formal form with most people, and then I get, they tell me that we don't need to be formal. Anyway, so I would suggest follow whatever the others are doing, start formal if in doubt, and then if they tell you, and then you've been promoted to informal. Obviously, in certain contexts, certain places, for example, if you are in Italy and you go to a restaurant, a hotel, an office for whatever reason, a museum, whatever you're visiting, so people that you don't know, you've never met before. And also it is a bit more of a formal context, then do use the formal way to address this whoever you meet. Instead, for example, if you are on the beach, for example, or walking along and looking, admiring some architecture or a monument, and you happen to, to be able to start a little chat, then in general, the informal way is okay. Right, so let's see immediately. We've got two mini dialogues. They're very similar. So here we are introducing somebody in an informal way. So let me read. Questo è Marco, un mio amico francese di Nizza. Abita a Firenze e parla bene l'italiano. So this is what you could say when you're introducing your friend Marco. And also, just for the sake of this, really, we can add some information about him. What the other person can say is piacere, io sono Valeria, or simply piacere Valeria. So let's see these words that we've used. Many you've seen before in the previous lessons, and some you may know, or otherwise they will be new to you. So questo means this, masculine, questo, because we are talking about Marco. If we had a female here, or a woman, a girl, whatever, this would be questa. Questa è followed by the name. And then also some of these would be different. For example, here we have un mio amico francese. Literally, especially following the word Georgia is a little bit, it does mean a French friend of mine, or a friend of mine who is French. In particular, di Nizza, from Nice, or literally of Nice, if you remember. Had it been feminine, it would have been una mia amica francese. You can refer to lesson 4 for these endings. And then we have abita a Firenze. He lives in Florence. We've seen this before. E parla bene l'italiano. So here we have a few new words. And he speaks well Italian in this order. He speaks Italian well. And then the answer is piacere. Literally, it means pleasure. So pleasure to meet you, basically. And then if you want, you can say I am followed by your name, or just piacere and then your name. So here we have some words, as I said, you've probably heard before. Bene means well. Sometimes you can translate it with good. But anyway, we are not going into that now. Now, a different context when somebody is introducing another person in a more formal way. So it could be work, for example. So let me read it for you. Le presento il signor Rossi, un mio collega di Milano. Molto lieta, sono la signora Bianchi. So here we have, in fact, I've chosen a slightly different format. So here, literally, we're saying, I introduce Mr. Rossi to you. To you would be this, which is the formal. And here we have il signor Rossi, a colleague of mine from Milan. And the answer is, so here, il signor Rossi, we know is a man. Now we'll see when we're talking about a woman. And here, instead, we have a lady talking, molto lieta. So the a, because it's a lady talking, had it been a man, it would have been molto lieto. Sono la signora Bianchi. So here is Mrs. Bianchi, and here we have Mr. Bianchi. So this one is masculine, il signor, and this one is feminine, la signora. This molto lieta, very glad, very pleased to meet you again. It's quite formal, really, even in, unless really is an official engagement, I think you can still get away with just piacere, sono la signora Bianchi. Some people also drop the whole thing and just say their surname instead of name. However, here we wanted a complete sentence. So as I said, this one is informal. The second one is formal. Here we have collega, which is the word for colleague. And the rest, I think you have seen it before. Now, just a little information about Mr. Mrs. So what we've seen here, as I said, in this this form, which we have here in this other sentence, the sentence says, questo è il signor Rossi. This is Mr. Rossi. So il signor Rossi is when, as I said, is Mr. Rossi when you're talking about il signor Rossi, Mr. Rossi. However, if you're calling or if you're talking to Mr. Rossi, then you don't use il in front of Mr. You just say, for example, here, if you're calling him, getting his attention, Signor Rossi, Mr. Rossi, or if you're talking to him, Mr. Rossi, I think, whatever. So, il signor Rossi when you're talking about him. Instead, just Signor Rossi if you're talking to him or you are calling him. You're addressing him directly. Same for the feminine. We have questa è la signora Bianchi. This is Mrs. Bianchi. And here, again, the feminine, instead, when you're talking about her, instead if you're talking to her, to Mrs. Bianchi, or you're calling her, then, again, you drop la and you just say Signora Bianchi. Oh, Signora Bianchi. Actually, I'm going to add something. If you're just saying sir without a surname, if you don't know the surname, you're just trying to get somebody's attention, then you just say signore. Signore. Oh, right. Signore. Sir, when you don't know their surname. Instead, when you're talking about, when you're calling or trying to get the attention of a lady formally and you don't know her name, you just say signora with nothing else attached. So this, in this context, would translate as sir to get somebody's attention. In this one, madam. Instead, when it's followed by their surname, sometimes their name is Mrs. and the name and Mr. plus the name. So I think, just to finish in this this lesson or in these examples, we have seen a few verbs: abitare, to live, which we have seen before, parlare, to speak, and presentare, to introduce, in this case, introduce somebody to something, somebody to someone else, and or otherwise to present as well. It depends on the context. In this case, it's to introduce two people to each other. These three verbs are all regular verbs. And please do look if you want to know more, revise or learn how to conjugate regular verbs in the present tense. You can find not in this playlist, but in my other videos in my channel. you can find a video that actually talks about conjugation of regular verbs in the present tense. Here, as I said, I've just mentioned some new verbs that we have seen today. Right, I hope this has been useful, and thank you again for subscribing, liking the videos. Feel free to leave a comment and share the videos if you know somebody who would benefit from them. And let me know as well where you're listening from, where you're following this course from, and why are you studying Italian? Why have you decided, or who made you study Italian? Okay, so this was lesson 5, lezione 5. And I will see you again in our next lesson for this course for beginners. And that will be lesson 6, which is lezione 6. Arrivederci, ciao.